The engines were busy taking a few coaches and trucks. They like to be really reliable and right on time and really useful. The engines were often busy and they like to be right on time. And they like to be really useful on the railway. And they like to be right on time and really reliable. One day, Thomas, Edward, and Timothy are at Nefford Station when Paxton arrived. He was taking some trucks of supplies to the other part of the line. Hey Paxton, has your day been fine? Yeah, it's been fine, Thomas. It's just been a bit crazy from when I stopped the trucks and got into an accident when they pushed me off the dock. At least you didn't notice the ghost engine. Ghost? What ghost, Edward? The ghost engine. I had heard about it and it got into an accident. And it happened a little bit when I was noticing it. And it happened on the mainland. And Edward told Paxton about it. There was an engine that has problems with his brakes. And the engine didn't know. And even it had problems when his brakes kept slipping. And most of the time he was running a little bit late. And it was a bit difficult during it. And that's where he got into an accident. What happened, Edward? It happened later that night. He was getting ready to take some trucks, and he was waiting for everything to be ready. Things were ready, and he went off, heading down the line. On the other part of the line, some workmen were checking the track because the track was bent, but the engine didn't notice it. The engine had noticed it. All he could do is try to put on the brakes, but it was too late. He went off the rails, slipped down a hill, and went off the rails. And so every night, the engine head over to where he had his accident, trying to head over where he derailed and disappeared through the shadows without one of the engines noticing it. Cinders and ashes, that part made my side rods rattle. Don't worry, brother, I'm sure it was fine. Yeah, Timothy and I did notice it. And every time it appears from the shadows every night. I wish I didn't notice it, because I'll be spooked. And with that, Paxton went off. I wish he was fine. Don't worry, Thomas. I'm sure he'll be fine. Yeah. I'm sure he's already got it, Annie, and even if Paxton did notice it, I'm sure he'll be fine. Later, Paxton was taking some trucks from the yards all the way to Brendam Docks. He was doing fine and he went off down the line. When Paxton arrived at Brendam Docks, Salty was there having a little rest and Cranky was unloading crates. Salty noticed Paxton was worried, and he didn't know what's going on. Hey, Paxton! What's with you? It looks like you were upset from an accident you had when you went overboard. Oh, sorry, Salty. I'm just worried about the ghost engine that Edward told me about. Ghost engine? What ghost engine? Paxton explained everything to Salty and Cranky. I'm just worried if I did notice it. Don't worry about it, Paxton. I'm sure you already got it, and I heard you had the courage when you tried to stop the trucks and then went overboard when you accidentally went onto the dock and derailed, and yeah, and I'm sure you already got it. Thanks, Salty. Thanks, Cranky, and I'll still try. Paxton was still a bit worried, but he knew he'd have to try. Later, Paxton was taking some trucks from the Vickerstown Yards to the Smudger Station Harbor. He was heading to the other part of the line and then he stopped. He didn't know what's going on, but he was a bit worried and he was a little spooked. Then, he noticed an engine appeared from the shadows. Is that the ghost engine that Edward told me about? I'm just not sure what's going on, but it's making me worried. Paxton was a bit spooked. Before he noticed anything else, the engine disappeared. Paxton, are you fine? Yeah, driver, I'm fine. You know, it's fine. We could head back, Paxton. Yeah, Sabani. I think we should. And without saying anything, Paxton went off. He didn't know what he had noticed, but he was a bit worried. Later, Paxton talked to James about what happened. James was getting his paint polished and getting ready to take some passengers from the next station. Paxton explained everything to James. Did you really notice it? I really meant it, James. I did notice it. It happened when I was taking the late night trucks and I just noticed it and then it disappeared. It's the ghost engine that Edward told me about. Yours is just crazy. Like when you crash into the tar wagons. Hey, don't remind me, Paxton. It was the trucks that caused it. They were being difficult. And anyways, you're just saying it like you're being crazy. And with that, James went off. Paxton was still a bit worried. Later, Paxton was dropping off a few supplies when Thomas arrived with Annie and Clarabelle. He was taking passengers from the other part of his branch line, and he noticed Paxton was a bit worried. He didn't know what's going on. Paxton, are you fine? Oh, Thomas, I noticed the ghost engine that Edward told me about. I just noticed it when I was heading to the other part of the line when I was taking the trucks from Vickerstown Yards to the Smudger Station Harbor. I just noticed it. And Paxton explained everything to Thomas. Did you really notice it? I did, Clarabelle. I noticed it and it appeared and I was spooked and then it disappeared. Like, I don't know what's going on, but it's crazy. Before Thomas could say anything else, the conductor blew the whistle. Oh, sorry, Paxton, I have to go. I can't be late. I'm sorry. But I'll see you later. And with that, Paxton watched as Thomas went off, heading down the line. Paxton was still worried, but he knew he'd have to try. Later, Paxton came to Vickerstown Yards. He was taking some trucks from Vickerstown Yards all the way to Nashville Harbor. Paxton was coupled up and he waited for everything to be ready. I got this. And even if I did notice it, I'll still try, even though it might be difficult. It wasn't long until everything was ready and Paxton went off. He knew he has to be brave about it. It got dark and Paxton went to the other part of the line, but then he had stopped on the other part. What happened? Paxton's driver checked. You ran out of fuel. Guess we had to wait for help to arrive. Paxton was worried. He didn't know what else. Then he heard another engine coming. It might be the ghost engine that Edward told me about. Paxton was spooked. Before he noticed anything else, out came Harvey with the breakdown train. Hey, Paxton, what are you doing? look a bit worried. Oh, sorry, I thought you were the ghost engine that Edward told me about. And Paxton explained everything to Harvey. Oh, don't worry, it's only me. I was only bringing the breakdown train and the workmen to check the bent track. Oh, I noticed what you meant, and I think you were brave to notice it. Oh, thank you, Harvey. At least I almost tried. And Paxton noticed it was the awesome thing that ever happened. Later, Paxton talked to Thomas about what happened. Thomas had heard about it and he felt sorry for Paxton. At least you already got it, and you were brave to notice it was only Harvey. Yeah, and I think it's been crazy even though I had been brave about it, and even it makes me really useful. Yeah, and I think you did awesome, Paxton. Thanks, Thomas, and at least I already got it, even though I was brave. And Paxton noticed it was the craziest thing that happened, but he noticed he had been brave, and it had made him really useful. So, Spencer, you got stuck on Gordon's Hill because you didn't listen to Gordon, that Gordon has to pull you all the way to Marin Station, and it's like the craziest thing that ever happened. Hey, don't remind me, mine is just an accident. And who told you about that? 17 did when I was taking passengers from Vickerstown all the way to the mainland. And you noticed it, just like when you were taking the express and that Gordon went on the other line and broke the buffers and derailed. It was an accident. I didn't notice it, and the cinnamon had to set the points. And things were fine from it. Yeah, and anyway, I got pastures to take. I can't be late. Anyways, I'll see you later, I think. So, see you later, Rebecca. Don't know what his problem was, but he's just difficult. Just a little bit.